Hello, guys, and welcome to this channel called Cricket Caviar, who would be normally covering IPL. Normally, during this time, during the peak IPL season, you were expecting us to cover IPL. But the reason we are not covering IPL is something big happened in this region. And that is on Wikipedia, you can see it as a 2025 India Pakistan conflict. But it started on 22nd April with the Pahalgam attack, and it ended at the end with an Nur Khan airbase ended. So I'm going to call this episode from Pahalgam to Nur Khan. So this is the sequence of events that happened, and uh, there is a lot of information war going on across both countries. So I think through this video, our aim is to contribute our our understanding of the whole situation, and also to probably tell the world or the few who listen to us what really happened, because I'm sure the people who are following us from Sri Lanka, people who are following us from West Indies, they would actually like to know, they would have heard of this, and they would like to know what actually happened. So I have Akash Joshi with me today, and Shakti Biswal with me today, and I'm your host Shikhar. So starting from Pahalgam, I'll give it to both of you guys, but I just want to make a point. When 9/11 happened in 2001, there was a big terrorist attack, 3,000 people killed, obviously much bigger than Pahalgam. But no country actually told US to de-escalate. When that happened, there was a proper war on terror, and a lot of armies joined together, a lot of allies of US supported them. Yes, there is going to be a war of terror. The thing that happened in Pahalgam actually hit the soul of every Indian, because India is known to be a peace-friendly nation. We are a diverse culture who with lot of languages, lot of religions. There is a lot of exploration in the mind of an Indian. He goes for vacations. He actually goes to all parts of India for vacationing, and there were some tourists who had gone for vacation in Kashmir. And Kashmir, there has been a history of militancy, which has been obviously sponsored by Pakistan. But what they had taken care of till this moment was that tourists were never targeted, because they also knew that they will antagonize the people of Kashmir, whose main economy is dependent on tourism. But this time, when I saw the news on 22nd April, I guess every Indian was shocked that it happened to the tourists. And there was an absolute a way of you know determining the religion of the person and then executing him on point blank range. And the scenes that have come out, like one person was zip lining, and you can see the killings just through his camera, and he's so unaware that he's thinking he's so happy, he's in his own world, that he's enjoying a tourist place. So yes, Shakti, I will start with you, because I know Akash has done a lot of research work on it. So I'm just setting a premise here. So Shakti, what are your thoughts in the entire thing that happened from Pahalgam onwards?
Yeah. So just to rewind a bit, like it's not like India is facing a terrorist attack for the first time, right?
Hmm.
Like this was a series of attacks which have been happening, and it has primarily targeted the civilians. Few obviously security personnel also get targeted, but we have seen like the biggest ones being 26/11 Mumbai, where there were like around 150 plus, people shot dead, in railway stations, then, throughout in big hotels like Hotel Taj and, stuff. So, that kind of was like the, if you ask anyone what's the biggest such incident which has happened till now, some people would say that that's 26/11. But
Hmm.
the monstrosity with which the Pahalgam attacks happened, where it kind of shook the entire nation, and I don't think there would be people who would not have expected retaliation anything less than what has happened. Obviously, we'll get to the details of that later, but I think it completely shook the entire nation. And because we are in an era where everything is getting shot by people, on phones, on cameras, and the news reaches much faster than what it was in the time of 26/11 as well, when we were relying only
Mm.
on primarily on TV media. I think it was like a watershed moment, you can say, in the escalation in conflict. As you said, like tourists were never made the direct targets. We have seen
Mm.
off late in Kashmir after Article 370 was removed, which made Jammu and Kashmir a union territory from the statehood which it used to enjoy for a long time. There have been
Autonomous
stray
state.
killings of,
Yeah.
yeah, so there have been stray killings of few outsiders, like workers from Bihar, or people who have been going from UP and Bihar to make a living there, or few security personnel. But the kind of scale with which this happened, and the kind where religion was clearly called out, and people then shot. And it's not only like all civilians, it was only male,
Yeah.
the in front of their kids and wives. So that kind of slaughter was unknown. It could have been linked to the kind of slaughter which has happened in countries like Iraq, and you know where things are much more worse, right? Where you have Al
Mm.
Qaeda, or you have the Hamas and the Hezbollahs of the world.
See,
So
see, see. I want to contradict to Shakti. There is no difference between Hamas and Pakistan.
Mm.
of course, yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'll come to that, but yeah, it was such a selective slaughter. Like we expect, like
yeah,
terrorist attack like 9/11. It didn't. It was just done in rage and just done to kill anyone who's Indian or anyone who's
yeah.
not who's from outside also. But this time it was so selective, and so I would say they were so precise in targeting Hindus, a particular community. Obviously, there is a Christian also who died, and they were asked
See,
to leave.
Shikhar, before this event, we should tell about our audience about what their army chief said.
Hmm.
Munir, there
Hmm.
was a meeting in Pak occupied Kashmir where even the Hamas leaders attended that meeting, and they
Hmm.
had a big planning. In that planning, only they have made this
Yeah,
kind of all the mischievous thing in Kashmir.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you are right. So what happened in Pak occupied Kashmir is that just I think 2 weeks before the attack, or in February, I think in February it happened that Hamas operatives came, and today also I was watching a video where Pakistanis, through information warfare, they are made to believe that they've won the war. So I was just watching a scene in Abbottabad where these people were asking Hafiz Saeed's followers, who is the head of Lashkar-e-Taiba. He's a US sanctioned, UN sanctioned terrorist. Hafiz Saeed, who has been protected by Pakistani authorities, and so they were saying that our next target is Israel. So, like what you said, that they are well colluded with Hamas right now, and yeah, but following the sequence of events, I think Asim Munir, you're right. He has been the one to make a statement in very early April, when just the April began, that he supported the two nation theory and said that Hindus and Muslims are not compatible. We have different philosophies, we have different lifestyle, we have different ambitions. I don't know what that ambition is exactly, but I mean, it seriously is sinister ambitions or something. But uh, yeah, so it all started from there, and I think there has had been a peace in Kashmir for last 5 years. Like since 370 got removed, I think nothing major had happened. Slowly, you could actually see development going on. You saw a lot of train lines were built.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
biggest train line in the world, Chenab Bridge, has been inaugurated.
Yeah.
I think that was also one of the primary reasons, that because things were getting so normal in the
Hmm.
valley, where
Yeah.
generally it has had
See, and
a,
one more thing we have to take into our notice.
Hmm.
Whenever Pakistan is in deep trouble with their economy, and
Yes.
then they start doing misadventurism in India, so that
Hmm.
they will not, so that the people of Pakistan, their
Hmm.
attention will be diverted towards hate for India.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is
Hmm.
also a big thing.
That is one of the primary reasons,
Hmm.
obviously, because both their leaders, be it the Asif Munir who heads their
One
plus,
is the leader. Asif Munir is the leader. Another
Hmm.
one is a prostitute of that person. That
Yeah.
Sharif, he has lost an election.
Hmm.
Uh, if you talk about the crisis in Pakistan, it started with Imran Khan. Imran Khan party has won most of the election despite
Hmm.
all the rigging. Still, he is in the jail. So that says a lot about
Yeah, it's
Pakistan's
not a
democracy.
democracy, but we already knew that about Pakistan. Like it's not a
yeah.
surprise. It's been never been a
Yeah.
it's never been a democracy in its, I think, entire, maybe some brief period of time when the Bhuttos were ruling. I think that time they had a genuine election, but I never remember after that or even before that. If you go through the 70s also, Pakistan was never a democracy. It's always been ruled by the army, and the army has actually, to their credit, they have safeguarded the nation also, uh, from safeguarded, or you can say, involved in all these
Somehow
things.
manage the country.
Somehow managed the country. They
Yeah,
have
somehow manage the
got in
country.
bed with the terrorists. They have managed to, uh, you know, hurt Afghanistan or whoever is. They
No,
have
so
killed a lot of Afghan immigrants. By the way, they have killed a lot
that's
of.
the
They have.
reason.
Hmm,
So that's also the reason why their army also, not because of their power grabbing nature, they are the most wealthiest. So there
yeah, yeah.
are every
Yes.
city you go, you will find something called DHA, which is like the Defense Housing Authority or something. So where there are a lot of houses which these generals and all have been owning
Yeah.
basically, and
Hmm,
and a majority of their businesses are, it's similar to Russia in a way, where
hmm,
government authorized oligarchs or billionaires are running majority of the businesses, but here the
hmm,
army obviously rules the roost. So that's, so when you are saying that they have managed to somehow get a hold of the country, it's also because they are making some money out of it, obviously, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
But Shakti, yeah, before I move to Akash and we talk about the operation, I just want, you were saying something about the normalcy in Kashmir, like how it was,
yeah.
things were coming back to normal, things looked very calm and cool in the valley, and suddenly, I think it was all building up to this moment, like something had to happen. So, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think, see, in fact, even I visited Kashmir sometime, post COVID. I think that was around, I think 3 years back. So, and I have been to the similar places. I went to
Hmm.
Srinagar, then I went to like the standard tourist route. You go to Gulmarg,
Hmm.
then Sormarg or Pahalgam. You go to those valleys. There is an Aru
Hmm.
Valley. There's a Betab Valley, which is named after the movie Betab. Baisaran Valley is
Hmm.
where the thing happened. I had never been to that place, but yeah, it would be like vast meadows where there would be some activity. So and it is like the peak tourist season. Summer holidays is when
Yeah.
majority of Indians flock to Kashmir with their kids and families. So so I think the kind of planning this would have
Hmm.
also required, and the kind of
Hmm.
arms, because they were heavily armed people who who have carried out these attacks. We still do
Hmm.
not know how many there, but I think there were four people who were
Hmm.
suspected. So the kind of planning would have
Hmm.
happened maybe a year or so back. And I think there is
Hmm.
also some piece of investigative journalism which has happened through print, where they
Hmm.
have seen the requests for maps of
Yes.
Pahalgam and few other
Yes. Yes.
places,
That's a good
you
point
know
that you brought. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
have been huge for these from the last 1 year, from June 2024 onwards. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
just heard podcast from Shekhar Gupta. So on
Yeah.
average, every month there used to be just one or two pings for these, but
Hmm.
suddenly in a month there are some 30 requests for
Yes.
photos of Pahalgam, and and these are like very close down to the very close to the ground basically.
Yeah,
So
that's
somebody who was
I'll take up that thing. So what happened is Saeed Obeddin, or someone who's a nuclear scientist. He was in US and he was actually buying these pictures from Maxar, and each picture actually costs you something around 3 to 4 lakhs
Lakhs.
rupees. So
Yeah.
it's not like one picture will cost you a lot. And so
Yeah.
suddenly in January, the number of orders for Pahalgam pictures went from an average of one per month to around 15, around 22 in that month. So something like that. So clearly this shows what exactly the Pakistanis are asking for evidence. This is the first evidence that you can really see that there was Pakistani involvement, because this guy was convicted of stealing nuclear secrets from US and giving it to Pakistan. Um, Also, I mean, you covered it very well, Shakti, and the shock of it, the picture that came out, one lady was standing next to her husband's dead body, and then there was a lot of build up tension. There was a lot of things going on X, where Pakistanis were making fun that, oh, come on, you guys attacked already, I didn't hear anything. Or there was a lot of
See,
joke.
they didn't took IWT very seriously. The
Hmm.
Indus Valley Treaty, which we have
Indus
kept
water
in
treaty.
abeyance, they haven't
Hmm.
taken it seriously. But now they
Hmm.
are begging and writing a letter to our government. Kindly,
Hmm.
please consider. Thoda pani de do. They
But
are.
Yeah,
yes, that was actually
that
first.
part was the
Uh,
that part was really, very surprising, because the entire nation was like in grief, because
hmm.
such kind of a massacre has happened. And then if you open social media, all the there
Hmm.
was a lot of jokes which the Pakistanis were making, and thinking that why are we not so funny or something, as if this was a time
See,
to make fun.
see, Shikhar, one more point I would like to add.
Hmm. Hmm.
Before we retaliated on 7th,
Hmm.
X was banned on Pakistan.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So now let us come on 7th, what happened on the night of
Hmm.
7th and 8th.
Hmm.
That is where the Operation Sindoor
Sindur.
started.
Yes.
Yeah, we attacked their 9 terrorist center. One
Hmm.
of the most important was in Bahawalpur.
Yes.
Okay, I don't. There, IC 814, one of the key terrorists, and his 10 family members died.
Hmm.
So that area, if you see in Sky News, international
Hmm.
Sky News, that is, they are saying it is a mosque.
Yeah.
Okay, and they have portrayed something like that. One of the terrorists lost his 10 members of his family. So the Pakistanis are showing ki like one
It's
child
not
has
one
been
of the
killed and
terrorists,
something like.
Akash. It's not one of the
It's
terrorists. It's the head of. It's the head
yeah,
of
yeah see,
Jaish-e-Mohammed, Maulana Masood
yeah,
Azhar.
it's a
I think we should
yeah,
take their names and shame them. Absolutely shame them. They've killed thousands of
yes,
innocent lives. And that
yeah.
Maulana. And I want
See,
to I want to tell the name of the centers. So one is actually So one of the centers in Bahawalpur, it's actually called Markaz-e-Subhanallah. And
Subhanallah.
ha,
mm,
and the names are, and the one in Muridke, no one actually, I saw on X that some Indian actually told that we are going to attack Muridke, and Pakistani people were making fun of him that what you're going to attack a village, because Muridke is actually a village near to Lahore.
yeah, it is.
And
It is in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. From there, they infiltrate into Indian
no,
territory.
Muridke is in Punjab. Muridke is in Punjab only.
Okay, okay,
Uh, so
okay.
So these people attacked Muridke, and that was called Markaz-e-Taiba, and it's the headquarter of Lashkar-e-Taiba, and it's a grand building. The headquarter of Lashkar-e-Taiba, Muridke is having all
Yeah.
the small houses, but if you see that building alone, it's a huge building. It's like built like a big auditorium, and there is mosque. There is so many
Yes.
things there, and what a precision strike, Akash, by
Strike. Yes.
Indian armed forces, and first time crossing the international. Okay, we expect to hit Pakistan occupied Kashmir, because we know that terrorists are trained there mostly. But to hit Punjab and the mainland Pakistan, how good was that from
Yes,
Indian
yes.
army?
See, we struck 9 centers. One was in Bahawalpur, Muridke,
Hmm.
Sarjal, Mahmuna, Joya, all the main lands in Punjab. We have hit them very
Hmm.
hardly.
Hmm.
So
So
after that,
I think why this was also very,
Hmm.
why it would have hurt the Pakistani, military also, because anyways they are the ones who are handling these terrorist groups,
Hmm.
is because
Yes.
hit at their centers. It's like hitting the nerve center of a country.
Hmm.
Yes.
Bahawalpur is the headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed. Similarly,
Mm.
Murid is the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Toiba. In fact, Murid Ke, it was the second time I was coming across, because we knew that Ajmal Kasab and the other terrorists from 2611 were trained in Murid Ke.
Murid ki.
So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yes.
So these are basically like places which have madrasas, and in fact, one of the
Yes.
places it was a jungle warfare training school. Because they have to wade in through a lot of jungles while crossing the
See, Shikar, it is
Hmm.
like in India, we have IITs, na? They have this terrorist centers in Pakistan. It is very highly competitive to get selected into one of the madrasas and become a terrorist for future.
So I think one of the the when the news started coming in, so one thing we missed was that, so 7th May, if you remember, 6th May we got a news that 7th May throughout India we are going to have some air drills, where
Yes.
you have to duck in
Hmm.
100
Yes, mock
and
drills.
some of
Hmm.
the border areas. So
Hmm.
schools and offices conducted those, but that people kind of thought that, like, what is this? Is it another thali banging, or the kind of shit which
Yes, yes,
happened with
like
COVID?
COVID.
So people were
Hmm.
making a fun of it, but this kind of was like a disguise, to
Real
be
thing.
honest. Yeah, it was a real
Yeah,
thing, the disguise to distract the people in Pakistan, or the army of Pakistan,
yeah,
because we started seeing those visuals of big blast happening in Bahawalpur, like sometime in the evening, and that was like a huge blast. If you
Hmm.
see, like, there are some people going on the road, and suddenly on the right there is a like a huge blast happening. So I think
Hmm.
that kind of attack we frankly haven't ever done inside
And if
Pakistan.
you see Shakti, the satellite image that was shown for Bahawalpur, they have dropped four
Yeah.
missiles, one after another,
Yes.
like it's bang, 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 and
Yeah.
they have covered a lot of area which was
Yeah.
housing colony of terrorists and also the office of terrorists. So they've covered that Jaish-e-Mohammed ka, and that's why you saw the results like Maulana
Right.
Masood Azhar, who was instigator of parliament attack, and he has instigated so many attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. He has
yeah,
written a letter in crying that my whole family has died. I wish I had died too. And then
Right.
you saw that scene in Bahawalpur where your lieutenant general of the army is actually going to a
Yeah.
funeral of terrorist, and there is a flag, Pakistani flag. It's a state
Yeah.
funeral, like you would give to your
Yeah.
army officer who
So
passed in battle.
no, see, actually, Shikar, both army and terrorists both are same.
Hmm,
yeah.
hmm. That's the
So
conclusion.
that image has actually been a pivotal image, to be honest. After the Pahalgam massacre, where which you mentioned, like a wife
Hmm,
was grieving over the dead husband. So
hmm,
because that image has been used multiple times, even in the press briefing which happened later on,
hmm.
by Vikram
Yeah,
Misri, by CA. So they were displaying that photo of a funeral happening, where the entire brass of Pakistani army is behind, as if
Hmm.
it's some fallen soldier.
yeah.
Similarly, I think in other news, we recently saw Ranveer, that YouTuber. He is
Allahabadi.
also Allahabadi, is also showing that photo. Like, and to be honest, if anybody is looking for clinching evidence about
Hmm.
the link
Right.
between the army and the terrorists, there is nothing else to prove that except this photo.
Yeah, it's clear.
See, then to the next day, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
all like. Then to the next day, they attacked with their shitty Turkish drone, which didn't do anything in India.
Yeah, we have to praise the Sudarshan Chakra S-400.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
S-400. It was like I was like laughing that day. They were sending drones after drones after drones after drones.
Hmm.
Okay, and India were just trying to kill the mosquitoes via mosquito net. It was like
Yeah.
that only. It didn't have any impact. But
Actually,
after
actually S400, even though like people are praising it a lot, because obviously
Hmm.
it's a big investment which India has made. It's something we have
Hmm.
imported from Russia, but
Hmm.
actually there are other weapon systems which are actually
Yeah.
indigenous, which have actually
yeah,
S400s are stuff which you do not use against this tiny drones.
Drones.
So
Drones,
Hmm.
and
they
yes.
be shot also. Like, there are snipers, like there is some Garud commandos who are like trained as snipers. So they have also shot down some of these drones. So it doesn't make
Yes.
sense to actually use S-400 against this. So there
Hmm.
were some Akash missiles,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
AD guns,
Anti-drone
normal
missiles
AD
they
guns
use.
are also there.
yeah,
Like,
normal guns
Yeah,
have been used to basically take down these tiny drones from
yeah.
Turkey and China.
hmm. But next
So
day
that
we also saw some things like Indian drones, Harop drones actually went into Pakistan, and
yes,
they also hurt some military bases. And after that, there was some 2 days of lull that nothing was happening. But Pakistan said we will do something, we will do something, and then they launched.
See, the second day it was second day
Hmm,
they were just sending the small drones, and
that's it.
yeah,
again
Hmm,
they did a very big mischief. The army chief of Pakistan and their DGMOs or whatever they
hmm,
were saying Indians were attacking their territory, especially to the Golden Temple and other Sikh religious
yeah,
it's a
pilgrimage site in Punjab, so
yes,
that to
yeah.
ignite a Khalistan type of thing in India again.
Hmm, hmm, hmm,
yes,
So they lied on the second day itself. Ki
yeah.
we
hmm,
didn't do anything. It was
hmm,
India was attacking us.
hmm.
India is attacking themselves so that they can hit
Hmm.
us again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's been the
that
whole narrative. Like starting, also they told that this terrorist attack in Pahalgam, they told that it was done by
Yeah.
Raw only. So they were saying that. I was watching some Pakistani news channels, so they were saying that India is attacking him. So imagine that India is coming to India and they are asking Hindus their religion. It's a crazy theory that they have. Only
no,
Pakistanis can think so. Please.
there is always a bogey, which is like the inside job that was done during 26/11 as well. Where
Hmm.
they said that Kassab is Hindu. That those are conspiracy theories. Even
Yes,
Balakot,
yes,
which
yes.
happened, where Pulwama, where some
Hmm.
89 soldiers were killed. That was also considered like an inside job. So Modi could win an election by mounting an
Yeah.
attack on. And so those are things which Pakistan and even people inside India also feel. There are many
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
in who support Congress
See,
as
Like
well.
like
actually, Shikhar, on the
9/11, there
second
is a
day,
big conspiracy
see
theory
on
on
the
9/11 that there was
11,
bomb
yeah,
inside
yeah.
World Trade Center. So those are
See,
conspiracy
Shikhar,
theories.
on that day, our news
Hmm.
channel did a fabulous job by doing all kind of fake news. They said ki we have killed this airbase, we
Hmm.
have removed this airbase. Even Karachi is in danger. But Shikhar, everything happened after 24 hours.
Hmm.
So
Yes, take us
maybe
through that,
our media,
Akash. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So after the third day of the attack, that is on the 9th, it started with
Hmm.
small drone attacks near the Vaishno Devi temple.
Hmm.
Okay, we just retaliated them again and again. At night after 12:30, when everyone was sleeping, everyone thought
Hmm.
again drones will come and it will hit it will do some damage here and there. But
Hmm.
uh, Pakistani in desperation, instead of fighting uh, with us via via their air defense and missile system, they cowardly attacked the innocent peoples in Puri, Kupwara, Uri, and Samba, which
Hmm.
caused 20 to 21 lives in India. Apart from
Hmm.
that, they haven't killed, at least they haven't done any damage to India.
Hmm.
So, and during that night, when everyone slept and thought nothing is going to happen, then then they escalated to a different level. At
Hmm.
around 2 a.m. Pakistani Indian time, when they attacked via drone, our system hit one of their target. That was Rafique something kind of air base in Pakistan.
Rafiki Airbase.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Then after that, they started sending us missiles to India.
right.
Hmm.
So when at 3:30, around
Hmm.
3 o'clock Indian time, when our missile hit the Nur Khan air
Airbase.
base, then they got so angered, this
Hmm.
Pakistani people. Then they all started an operation called Operation
Banyan
Buyan
Move.
un Markas.
Ah.
Okay,
Hmm.
and
Ah,
that
okay.
Markas, according to them, it hit Jammu, which is absolutely false. Everything is flying in Jammu. and they
Hmm.
said
No.
they have sent one
So,
of the
hmm. First, they
see
claimed that they
before.
have actually the first claim of Operation Banyan Marsus was they have hacked our. So they said
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was very
yeah.
funny in response to all the
Yes.
missiles that we sent. So they said we have hacked the Indian websites and we
Yeah,
they said they've attacked Bias Nagrota, that is the missile arsenal where Brahmos is kept, and they also said
yeah.
that we have destroyed all the air bases. I don't know which air bases they thought as they destroyed.
Hmm.
And then they launched a
See,
Fateh missile. I think it was the Fateh missile which was launched where a namaz was read, and they launched that Fateh missile in the morning, which got, I think, trapped near Sirsa in Haryana. They say that
see,
it was heading
see. It was
towards Delhi.
it was see. India's mission was so simple.
Hmm.
Whatever missiles we will hit, we will also hit with a similar missile.
Hmm.
Okay, but their air defense was so fucked up. So
Hmm.
whatever we are hitting,
It
whatever we
it
are
hits.
sending, it is hitting their bases.
Hmm.
So it's not our fault. It's stupid
I
your
think the
fault.
primary
That is
dif-
the
the
Pakistani's
main
fault.
difference between both the the kind of attacks was that India from beginning has maintained that
Hmm.
we are only going after the terrorist bases. In fact,
Hmm.
in every press conference
Yeah,
also they kept repeating that we are not going to attack your military installations. Until we
yeah.
are provoked to attack, which eventually they did because they started
Hmm.
sending drones every night over our military bases, and that's when India had to
Yeah.
retaliate. You can't
Shikhar,
just
first big air base which we kept which was hit was in Rafiki. Then
Rafiki.
it was
Hmm.
in Jacobabad.
Hmm.
Yes.
Then when it happened to their Nur Khan, then they were
Yeah.
like it happened. Attack happened in a very densely populated area in Rawalpindi.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Then the things got worsened, and they started hitting us with Fateh 1 and Fateh 2, which is a very big
Yeah.
range missile.
It's a
Yeah.
400
Okay,
kilometer missile. Yeah.
yeah. But
Hmm.
one thing is, again, it was like Ramayana. If you see one arrow is coming from that side and we are hitting it. And I was
Hmm.
seeing both the Geo News as well as Aaj Tak. So at around 3 a.m. Indian time, we hit their Nur Khan air base.
Hmm.
After that, they started an operation called Operation Boyan un Marcus.
Hmm.
Buyane Marcus, their aim was to hit us in Udhampur, and another was in Delhi, so
Hmm.
that they can show something to their media.
Hmm.
So when Fateh 2 Sirsa was endangered, and
Hmm.
apparently Indian missile hit another of their base center, and some are saying it is the Karana Hills,
Yeah.
which is near
That's.
Sargoda.
Sargoda.
That
Sargoda.
Hmm.
Sargoda, it happened around 4 a.m. Then the Pakistani had another press meeting, and every Pakistani started writing on X, "We want peace and we want peace." And at that time, when the situation becomes so bad, then the American Secretary of State, instead of calling the Prime Minister of Pakistan, he calls the Prime Minister. He calls Asif Munir, and then JD Vance was given responsibility to negotiate with India, and India said
Yeah.
our mission is see
Yeah.
No,
India's
So
so
mission was
basically,
at
India
successful.
that
hammered Pakistan so much and so badly that they had
See,
to
the
beg
main
for a
main war
ceasefire.
happened was between 12:45 Indian time to 4:30. It
Yeah. Yeah.
was, I think, one of the best day for Indian air forces and all commands after
I think both the days
1971.
I was awake because of an Inter Milan Barca game when Operation Sindoor
See,
happened, and I think you were
Shikhar,
awake that time.
I would say in Hindi we have a bhediya eye kind of story.
Hmm.
Pakistan were prepared on the day when we used to hit them in Karachi and everything. On the
Hmm.
next day, when they started sending these missiles, and it was not our mistake that our air defense system is good. Your air defense system is so fucked up. So whatever we are sending, it was hitting bang on
Yeah.
target.
And then
So
there
So
was
after that,
what is surprising is that, which you said, Nur Khan was like set the panic buttons in Pakistan. So Nur Khan is like deep inside Rawalpindi, which where
yes,
the HQ or their general headquarters and their major armed forces colleges, and it's like a heavily fortified area. If your air defense systems, if they can't stop missiles raining into your like heart of Rawalpindi, so that kind of would have given them like the shock of their life. And then we started hitting
yeah,
Sargota. These are bases which India last stuck in 1971. So that was the kind of time period which had time had flown between these things. So of course our air defense systems were much better equipped, and we had those, we saw those, the kind of levels of layers we have, the kind of multi-layered air defense
yeah,
systems we have. If is missing, there would be some other thing which would be, and of course
yeah,
S-400 was much later in the thing. I don't think they even used it once or twice max, I think. So
mm,
so I think it was an emphatic thumping of Pakistan, to put it
yeah,
squarely and to be very objective about
yeah.
it.
India absolutely
Because
beat
it was
Pakistan and beat
the
them to
first,
surrender and
it
ceasefire.
was on the first day when the when India attacked their terror.
So we were talking about what happened. Shakti, you wanted to say something about the
Yeah.
information warfare, because
Yes.
immediately after this thing happened, it there we saw a lot of celebrations from Pakistani side, which was a bit funny. We saw
No, so
Shahi.
that much later. So I wanted to talk a bit about the day one itself. When we
Hmm,
attacked the terror base, the 9 terror bases.
hmm,
Immediately, because this was the first time. The last time there was such a exercise. Which was Balakot. Indian jets had actually crossed over to the Pakistani side, and similarly
hmm,
for them as well. But this time, because we wanted to the attacks to be de-escalatory in nature, we
hmm,
had stuck to our territory only, and all the missiles were fired from Indian airspace. So there was a lot of, in the fog of war, there was a lot of chat that India has lost a Rafale.
hmm,
That was the the entire thing started sounding like Pakistan has downed India's couple of Rafales, and that was like
hmm,
already a big loss for India. While India had
hmm,
actually attacked their terror bases. So the India was starting to lose that narrative war, because even some
hmm,
Western media had also started talking more on the India losing some aircrafts, rather than what was the point of all of
hmm,
this. So it started from that, and obviously as the days passed, we saw the kind of fake news which was happening primarily from Pakistan. We also saw a day when it happened in India as well, but it was more to tackle the Pakistani news cycle. So I think that is still being debated. Did India actually lose 4 aircrafts or 5 aircrafts? There is nothing conclusive. There have
hmm,
been some images around, but India has said that all our pilots are back home.
hmm,
We might have
mm,
lost a couple of them, but frankly,
mm,
in the larger scheme of things, it doesn't
mm,
matter. India can procure, India will procure 36 more Rafales, or 100
mm,
more. But getting this kind of drubbing is what is the the bottom line. So
hmm,
just because one Rafale or one Sukhoi or one MiG we might have lost, that doesn't take
mm,
away anything from the fact that Pakistan is a house of terrorists, and it got
mm,
the kind of drubbing which it required.
Yeah, talking about that day one, it was the combination of hammer and scalp missile that were
Yeah.
ejected from India's side of the border, and I'm surprised that it reached so deep into the territory of Pakistan, considering Bahawalpur is next to Rajasthan, and Muridke is next to Punjab. So we hit that deep, and then we hit Muzaffarabad, which is like the capital city of Pakistan occupied
So,
Kashmir. And after 2 days of crying and sending their useless Turkish drones, which were cut apart by Indian air defense, and then India actually neutralized their Pakistan's air defense so effectively. So basically, India sent out their missiles to hunt for Pakistani radars and
yeah.
neutralize them. And then we saw that whole thing happening on the night of 10th May, which Akash took us through the sequence of events. Like uh, we in retaliation of all the drones and the cross border firing that happened in Poonch, let's not forget that 15 civilians were killed in Poonch. There was a lot of uh,
Yeah.
provocation of Sikhs being made, that that Pakistan actually hit a lot of gurudwaras, saying that Indians are hitting them and trying to get Khalistanis on their side. So after all this, India, when they launched that massive air base attack, it has to be called one of the best military successes of India. We hit Rahim Yar Khan, Nur Khan. Nur Khan, you were saying, Shakti, is so fortified. I just learned that it is actually a VIP airbase. Like a lot of VIPs
Yeah,
actually
correct.
take off from Nur Khan airbase, and then there is Sargodha and Kirana Hills, and we got some reports from that some nuclear leakage is happening. There was a plane which took the boron dioxide from the bank of River Nile of Egypt.
See, Shikhar, one more thing we have to add. When they
Hmm.
were sending the drones
Hmm.
uh, in the first day of what was their retaliation, they
Hmm.
didn't issue the no air traffic kind of system. They
Yeah,
were
that's it.
flying. They were
Commercial
flying, I
airlines,
think,
Civilian
commercial
aircraft.
airlines.
civilian
Mostly,
airlines.
it would have been an empty airline. Maybe the flight would have been
Would be.
empty
Hmm.
because that is
So that
all.
that was a major violation, because the reason for that is that then India would also be restrained, because if you are seeing that there
Yeah,
is civilian aircraft flying around, you would not want to even by mistake make a
yeah,
mistake, right? So it was,
yeah,
we are dealing with that kind of a terrorist
yeah.
state, right? That's why they keep on saying that if you're dealing with Pakistan, they always
See,
have a gun to their own head.
they
uh,
they were striking Jammu. They were striking Vaishno Devi temple.
They were
What kind
not.
of
They didn't strike anything. They intended to strike. They didn't strike
they
anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big. And one more thing, they had some prostitutes like Al Jazeera on their side who said
Mm.
we had. Their sources said that one of the Indian women pilot, she has been captured,
Captured.
and what
Mm.
yeah.
see, and
They
and they
actually,
after
I
all.
think, a lot of Pakistanis just searched on Google that name an Indian pilot who is a Rafale pilot, and they found some name Shivangi, and they posted her everywhere. Like, we have Shivangi, we have Shivangi. So it was a very cheap gimmick by Pakistan, desperately trying to win this war through information. And yes, obviously, the world media has always taken a kind to Pakistan. Like, uh, somehow they always play
See,
the victim card very well.
I think we have to blame the Chinese. It was all the Chinese who were doing all the dirty works for their
Hmm.
beggars.
Yeah,
Because
No,
so
lot
so
of
it had actually become, it had also, because these arms company, or, companies which actually produce these fighter jets, there is a
Mm,
different level of, it's a business after all, right? So a lot of
competition. Hmm.
international media was trying to portray that Rafale or French aircrafts, because they got shot down, they do not have that stealth capability, because it was the first time a Rafale was being shot down. And
Hmm.
by
yeah.
default, it meant that US aircrafts, which are the F-35s, they are
Hmm.
much better, or even Chinese one, the
See,
Hmm.
JF-10s and JF-17. Yeah,
it,
so,
J10.
so it had
Hmm.
taken that proportion.
see JD Vance only did one thing, that he said Modi to please stop, and Modi said to him, most likely, I don't know, that we are not fighting. They are just sending us the missiles. We are just
Hmm.
retaliating it, and we are just giving them back in the same way. But our defense is so good that they're not hitting anything. But whatever we are sending, it is bang on target.
Hmm.
So then comes Mr. Donald Trump. He announced ceasefire.
No, no,
What a
that
stupid
part I
idiot
will
he has
talk
been.
about. You have to listen. I will talk, but but before that,
No, no,
no, no,
no, no.
just
I don't know
before that,
any
let's.
US president. See, I don't know any US president who has been so stupid like him. That see somehow someone please give him a that idiotic Nobel Peace Prize, which is aiming for, because
No,
See, he
I
became president.
want to give it to another person
No,
actually.
so
I don't want to give it to Trump. I want to give it to Khwaja Asif, who is the defense minister of Pakistan, because he literally
Yeah,
shot Pakistan in the foot when he went into
yeah.
Sky News, and I think there that anchor was also Muslim, Halda
He's
Yakim
from
or some.
Afghanistan.
So
He's from Afghanistan.
she asked him a very basic question which he could have just said no, but he went into full detail explaining, yes, we were doing the dirty work of US, and we were harboring terrorists, and he explained all these useless things and made it even more clearer to the world that yes, Pakistan is a terror state and the army is in cahoots with the terrorists. And then when
And one more thing he said, for all
hmm.
the sources, you can go to social media. It's there in social
Yeah,
media.
he was asked the
that
proof
happened.
of hitting the Rafales, so he said it's all over social media. You can see when you see the professionality of the Indian armed forces, they are actually giving satellite images. They are actually giving all the proofs, and you see Pakistani exactly copy pasting India's method with all the three DG of Navy, Army, and Air Force sitting, and they are giving a presentation like I would give it in office.
What they have done, see what they have done in the presentation was they took some satellite image that too of a very bad quality, and then they used
No, they didn't take
paint.
any satellite images.
No,
They
no,
took
no.
a
Some of
photograph.
them, no. They have shown the satellite image of Jammu and Udhampur. Udhampur. They have claimed that S-400 has been shot down.
Hmm.
So for Jammu, what they did, they put some two dots. It is like you have taken print screen on your computer and put some random dots here and there and say this has been demolished. And even the Pakistani public believed on the that shit what they were
No,
saying.
no. The first thing what they did is to show some Rafales getting shot. They have used clips of a video game. They
Video.
use they use the
Good.
Yeah.
clips of that video game, and in that briefing what I saw is they have the Navy briefing which they were showing, they've used some photoshopped image of taken from Google images, and they photoshopped it and shown.
One more thing. Uh, they took one of the video of Aastak and played. Uh, Aastak were showing the video that was hitting Pakistan, and they have shown that
Hmm,
with that image that it is Jammu. How
hmm,
foolish they can be, I don't know. If
hmm,
I don't have any words to say because even a seventh grade person will make a better PPT than the Pakistani would have made it.
hmm,
So let's talk about the
hmm,
what happened or what led to the the so-called ceasefire,
hmm.
which India is saying is not a ceasefire, it's a cessation of
Pause.
hostility.
Hmm,
Yeah, so that's what India is saying. So basically, India, or what we know, what has happened is that their DGMO, the Pakistani DGMO, after we attacked their 8 or 9 air bases and radar stations, they got completely spooked. And at which point their DGMO reached out to the Indian DGMO and said that let's stop it. At which point India kind of accepted to like a temporary halt in it till we
hmm,
see some changes in
Yeah.
your reaction. So
hmm,
but obviously Trump being the
hmm,
the kind of idiot that he is, he immediately, even before India could announce this, he kind of tweeted it that I've
hmm,
been able to get a ceasefire. So it was all about him rather than
Hmm.
India and Pakistan, and he is
hmm,
referring to India and Pakistan conflict as a 1,000-year-old conflict.
hmm.
Bro, Pakistan is just 75 years old.
Yeah.
It's not a 1,000-year-old conflict. Yeah,
Hmm,
Islam and Hindu may be a 1,000-year-old
hmm,
conflict, but yeah, India
hmm,
and Pakistan is the
Maybe
of
Modi might have given him some idea. He's such a big idiot. He remembers two or three words and then he makes all kind of story to just
and for the last
please
five
his
hmm,
mega
four
fans.
days since then, he has been just parroting the same word that I was
hmm,
able to do it
hmm.
everywhere. He went to Qatar yesterday. He said that today
Yeah.
he's
No,
saying
today he has
Today he
improved.
has
He
said it
said
again.
I didn't. Today he improved. I just helped it. You
No,
are
he
an
said, I don't
idiot. You are
want to say it, but I helped it. I don't, he said, I don't want to say it, but I helped it. So basically, it's Trump parading. And then today he said that he doesn't want Apple to manufacture in India. Then
Yeah.
so I
No, no,
am
he
seeing
wants
that.
everything. See, he wants everything to be manufactured in America. It is not possible. Please
Hmm,
try do manufacturing in America. Your Apple
yeah,
company will crash like anything. He's
yeah.
such a
And
stupid president.
so
He
saying
doesn't
that,
know the difference between trade deficit and
But
uh,
you were Joshi Trump just 2 months back.
no, no.
You
I
were-
supported him because I support all conservatives, but I don't know.
Hmm,
This person is a fascist, sexist, racist,
hmm,
stupid, idiot. He wants to make deal with Kim Jong Un. He
hmm.
wants to make deal with Iran, Iraq. I don't
seriously,
see.
I think
He
Saudi
wants.
Arabia just invested 600 billion or something in
Yeah,
US, and
he
today he
only
shook
loves
hands with
money.
an ISIS terrorist who is the leader of
Yeah,
Syria. So he just shook
yeah.
hands.
He's meeting Mr. Ambani later tonight.
Hmm.
So he just want to do business. He's a just businessman,
He's a
time
deal
pass
maker.
person who became an American president for 2 times.
Actually, I realized that when he was talking to Zelensky, I thought it was such a heartless way that he spoke to him, that we want to make a deal, you want to make a deal, you have to play the cards. Man, his countrymen are dying since last 3 years, and you're talking about deal and cards. I mean, he's such a foolish and arrogant guy who should be a brat
See,
left to.
Shikhar, I think in his whole administration, I would commend only JD Vance, who has
Hmm.
a political acumen to handle this kind of situation.
no,
Uh,
Actually, see, if
it
you
is
go
not
by
even.
the reports of New York Times, even JD Vance was shocked when Modi said, "I am not attacking Pakistan. If they
hmm.
want to stop, we are ready to stop." That is where it all stopped, because our
No,
aim
so
was never to.
Hmm.
Our aim was finished on the day when we hit 9 targets of
Markaz
Pakistan.
Subhanallah. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
so
our
actually,
aim was to hit
another
the
part.
9 terrorist center,
Yeah,
but we
yeah, yeah.
got
Hmm.
bonus of hitting 11 more of their army base center. It was
Airbase.
all
because
because of
because they retaliate.
foolishness of Pakistan.
Yeah.
No, so another part is that there is another thing coming up, and this Trump has been repeating that I kind of
Hmm.
stopped clear conflict to arise out of this. So
Hmm.
the other part is that you are saying that Vance maybe did a really good job by talking to
Hmm.
Modi or whatever. The
Hmm.
other part is that Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, they are also pretty newbies into the
Yeah,
administration.
yeah.
Hmm.
Pakistan would
Mm.
have said that we are now really pissed and we might go nuclear. So they might have also panicked, and that's when they might have also wanted to de-escalate this situation, because Pakistan has a habit of using the N word whenever they get kicked in the ass.
Hmm.
So not like they have been the deal
Yeah,
break.
see, one thing I think, if they would have done this, all this kind of mischievous thing, I think it was maybe, we don't know, we will never even know until unless America declassifies the files after 20, 30 years. We will get to know about the in detail. I think it was the something from our side which was very dangerous. So maybe
No,
they
no.
No,
thought.
that
I'll agree
Pakistan
with I'll agree
things
with
which is.
Shakti. Hmm.
Yeah, so Kirana Hill things, which is like, which has become a meme now, that we
Hmm.
don't know
Yeah,
what is Kirana Hills,
Hmm.
because that houses some of their nuclear weaponry in Pakistan. So actually, the
Yeah.
India and Pakistan have signed a deal, maybe some 20-30 years back, and
Hmm.
as per that, on the first Jan of every year, so
Hmm.
each of their counterparts meet, and
Yes.
then they sign that agreement saying that we are not going to attack any nuclear installations, not even anything nearby. So, assuming that India hit Kirana Hills, knowing that it houses nuclear thing, is like a conjecture from Indian side, because obviously we want to troll them and say that we have now hit your nuclear bases, but that is something which hasn't happened.
after all
Yeah,
this
they
thing,
actually exchange on 1st Jan every year. They exchange the exact locations. They
Yes.
exchange the exact locations of their nuclear arsenal. So it is very unlikely that India will take such a move. But yes, they
Correct.
got very near to it because it is in Sargodha, so they
Yes.
may have hit very near to it.
Yeah.
So Sargodha
Yes.
is
Yes.
also the heart of Pakistan Air Force, and
Right.
India hitting there would have caused some tremors in Pakistan and would have made
Of
them
course.
go crying to
Mm.
America, to in
Yeah,
fact, not just
see,
America.
one
you
more.
you have to remember that the Saudi prince was there, the Qatar, they were
Mm.
regularly talking to the Qataris. There were so many people were actually the Pakistanis were speaking
Trying
to
to.
all these
Yeah.
channels, and India were only speaking to JD Vance and no one else, and Marco Rubio maybe.
We
Jaishankar
were
was
not
speaking to.
talking to. We were not talking to anyone. It was others who were trying to
Hmm.
stop us.
Hmm. No,
Okay.
so
We
yeah,
see
we
our mission. See, our mission was accomplished the day when we hit their 9
yeah,
terrorist
that
camps
I
and we
understood,
took the
Akash, but
revenge.
we were in conversation with America throughout, where they were trying to stop
Yeah.
us. So they were trying to stop us. That's what I'm saying. So they must have requested through back channels, like please stop. So we said we already achieved our objective, whatever we had to do. It's just we are doing
Yeah.
whatever we are doing for retaliation. And like you said, Akash, you perfectly said that their air defense is so fucked up that we are hitting everything that we want to hit, and they are not able, they are only damaging some civilians and places of worship in Poonch and Jammu and little bit maybe,
That
and these
that that
areas.
but that is also very nearby the border.
Yeah,
By
they are
just
just
shelling it.
hitting, they are just shelling some of our border areas, and maybe one drone got into Firozpur, and one family got burnt. I think that apart from that, I think none of the drones could make any impact across the borders, and they had sent some, I think 600 one day, next day 600, so maybe thousands of drones actually,
One,
and the air defense system
one
was so good.
one thing they have done is very well. They have lost their Haider missiles. They did some namaz before launching that Haider missiles, and they were saying now it is going to Delhi. It will go
Hmm.
to this place and that place. And see, what happened in our side was that on the day of ceasefire, we didn't give the whole detail of all what has happened.
Hmm.
So on the next day, when the DGMOs
Yes.
released the images, so because I was awake that day, so I knew everything what was happened. I
Hmm.
said that in many of the groups, but they were not believing me because day before that day, Aaj Tak and all kind of news channels they uh,
Hmm.
spread fake like anything, so no one was
Hmm.
trusting anything. but
Yeah.
uh, but
Yeah, yeah.
that
We got, you
I
were
as
awake. We got the
what I have seen on the night of 9th and 10th
Hmm.
from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. in one of the laptop I was seeing their Geo News. In
Hmm.
another of my mobile, in my mobile I was watching Aastak, and it was such a fearful night, I would say,
Hmm.
because happened so quickly.
Hmm.
Everyone thought it will happen another day, but then it didn't happen anything.
But India did provide a lot of detail about the ceasefire. They specifically told the time when the Pakistani DGMO, which is 3:35 p.m. in the afternoon, when the Pakistani DGMO called. So by giving this time, I think India got that advantage that yes, it was
See,
actually, when you give
sir,
details about an incident, so you know that you are telling the truth, because
see, at
that's
around
how.
12:30 p.m., we hit
Hmm.
the Jacobabad airport or something like that.
Hmm.
That is
Yes.
also named after Sharif. Then
Okay.
when we were eating everything, then they said, "Bhai, ab to bheek mang lo." Then they came to their DGMO came and he
Hmm.
requested for a ceasefire, which was already negotiated by the other
Hmm.
political back channel diplomats.
Hmm.
But our mission was accomplished in the first day, and
Yeah, yeah,
other
yeah.
things which
I
what
I
is the
want to say that
bonus.
like when actually what happened in this information warfare is that when the day they launched that Operation Banyan in Marsus, on that day itself the ceasefire happened. So what these people sold to the Pakistani public is ki we started
Yeah.
this operation today, and today the ceasefire happened. So they portrayed it like we started the operation today, and today the ceasefire has happened. So you have to believe that it was our initiative that caused pushed India to the back foot. But it is far away from truth. It is far, far away from the truth. Like as we
None of our ministers. No,
Hmm,
see, if you see all the things in none of our minister or a high level politician from Indian side,
hmm,
they didn't utter anything when this was happening.
hmm,
Neither Rajnath Singh ji or Jai Shankar or Prime Minister, they didn't say anything about what was happening.